Hello everybody, I'm Skip Elsheimer, and welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm film, some of which we know and some of which we don't. So that last film that we saw were some home movies that were found, I think at a thrift store or a yard sale, but anyways, there was no information about them. There was nothing written on the cans, no names, nothing. And that's kind of sad because it's harder to figure out the context of what we're watching. When was it shot? We might be able to tell from the date code on the film. Who are those people? I don't know. If we're lucky, we might see a name somewhere. We might see a calendar that tells us something. We might see a ship name. We might see a license plate number. There's ways you can kind of suss some of that information out, but a lot of it, you have no idea whatsoever. So, yeah. And, so we do a yearly celebration of home movies, which is what those were, around mid-October, but I think we might be doing one of them. It's what's called Home Movie Day, and we might be doing one of those in January for people in Raleigh. So, keep you kind of posted on that. All right, so watching some old 16mm films that we do know things about. This next one, Bookkeeping and You, cornet film, and I think it has a celebrity in it. Let's watch and find out. Enjoy.
Let's look in on a high school bookkeeping class.
Yeah.
150. That's a lot of different kinds of jobs.
850,000. That's a lot of people. And a lot of jobs. Jobs for us when we graduate.
Maybe for you kids. Me, I'm going into politics. I'm going to be a senator, maybe governor.
Listen to him.
You won't catch me voting for you.
The Honorable Henry Foster.
All right, you'll see.
Tell me, what's the governor doing in bookkeeping class?
I've got a reason.
Yes, Henry has a reason for being here. So have all the others. A little investigation into those reasons should be interesting and might answer some of your questions about bookkeeping and you. Howard Winslow, for instance, is studying bookkeeping because he's going into business. He's going to work in his father's grocery store and eventually take it over. He already works there after school and on Saturdays. Like any other business, a grocery store buys and sells. And it needs a record of every business transaction, such as the sale of groceries to a customer. Receipts from cash sales are recorded in the cash register. Meanwhile, Howard's father has been waiting on a customer who has a charge account. This transaction is recorded on a sales slip, which shows the customer's name, what he bought, and the amount. He'll pay for all his purchases at the end of the month. The day's work done, Howard's thoughts turn to another sort of business transaction. Money paid out by the store, paid to him for his work. Now, Mr. Winslow needs to know how much cash he has taken in and paid out during the day. So he rings up the totals of the day's cash transactions. Inside the cash register, this information is printed on a slip of paper. This slip shows the amount received on account from customers, amount of cash sales, and amount paid out. Watching his father wind up the day's business was what showed Howard how important it is for anyone to have a thorough understanding of bookkeeping before he steps out into the world of business.
Besides the slips from the charge sales and the paper from the cash register, I have a record of every other transaction. The stubs in my checkbook are records of payments made by check, while this invoice is a record of merchandise I've bought and must pay for.
And in addition to these immediate records, Mr. Winslow keeps a permanent record of all transactions for each day. In this book, he enters the amounts from the cash register slip, the check stubs, and the invoices. This is what we mean by keeping records. At the end of each month, he prepares 2 reports which help him, among other things, to make plans for the future and to figure his income tax. One of these reports shows income from the sale of groceries and his various costs for merchandise, rent, insurance, and utilities. The difference between income and costs is net profit. The other report shows the amount of cash on hand, how much his customers owe him, the value of the business and supplies, the debts he must pay, and how much the business is worth. So Howard has seen how important bookkeeping is in operating a business. His father has also explained that neglecting to keep adequate records is one of the most frequent causes of business failure. So that's why Howard is in bookkeeping class. And of course, bookkeeping is just as important for people going into any other line of business. For Stella, who wants to be a nurse in a doctor's office. For Mike, who plans to run a filling station. For Ruth, who hopes to own a beauty parlor. And for Bob, who's going to be a farmer. Like Howard, Bob is already learning his business, and he's learned that farming is a business. A farmer, like a storekeeper or a manufacturer, needs to keep accurate records in order to run his farm at a profit. These records and reports also contain the information he needs to figure out his income tax, which brings us from bookkeeping and business to bookkeeping and the family. For filling out income tax forms is one sort of bookkeeping which goes on in nearly every home.
You know, Ronald, a family is like a small business. We have our income and our expenses. Some things we buy for cash, others on open charge accounts, and some on the installment plan. Important transactions such as buying our home call for careful planning and the keeping of records to be sure our plan is being carried out. Your knowledge of bookkeeping will also help you understand such records as these. Stockholders' reports, which help guide the family in investing its savings. And bank statements, which are a periodic report of our main receipts and expenses. Like a business, a family which keeps regular accounts can plan better for the future, and it's less likely to go broke. Why, even your mother finds it helpful to understand bookkeeping.
Yes, as an officer of the Women's Club, Mrs. Thayer helps manage the club's business affairs and checks over the treasurer's report. For social clubs also have their receipts and expenses and must keep books like any business organization. Ronald has already learned that he must manage his own financial affairs and keep track of his expenses if he's going to stretch his allowance through the whole week. So he knows that when he becomes the head of a family and has to do this on a large scale, bookkeeping will be a mighty useful thing to know. He's studying it for personal use, regardless of the work he goes into. Nancy is in class because she has plans for becoming a stenographer and advancing to be a secretary. She knows that the dictation of a businessman often deals with problems involving bookkeeping principles, so her bookkeeping training will stand her in good stead. She may have to type various kinds of business reports. She won't need to know bookkeeping just to copy such reports, but she will in order to check the accuracy of her work. There's another reason why a knowledge of bookkeeping helps a secretary to get ahead. She may be called upon to keep the personal bookkeeping records of her employer, and in a small office, possibly be the company's bookkeeper. Of course, bookkeepers and accountants are the people who use bookkeeping knowledge and skill most directly. Even among machine operators, it's those who have studied bookkeeping who are most valuable to the company, and who therefore stand a better chance for promotion. For many people, Bookkeeping is the all-important first step toward achieving a place in the profession of accounting. Accounting not only entails maintaining all sorts of financial records, but also advising the management in planning financial and operating policies, and in matters of production control. Then, too, there are many opportunities in the field of public accounting, handling the accounting work of individuals and small concerns, and serving large companies as an impartial and trustworthy outsider. No matter where Nancy may work, an understanding of bookkeeping will help her to understand business in general. This brings us to Henry, who announced his intention of becoming a senator or maybe a governor. So why bookkeeping? Because government, too, is a business, a big business. Taxes are levied and collected to provide income. Equipment is bought and salaries are paid. All these transactions must be recorded and reported. This naturally creates many opportunities for bookkeepers and accountants in the federal, state, and municipal governments. And every person who holds public office must be able to understand and interpret such reports. Many of the issues in political campaigns involve business problems.
My opponent in this campaign tells you that he has operated our transportation system so efficiently that cash receipts have always exceeded cash disbursements. He neglects to tell you, however, that much of our transportation equipment is worn out and no reserves have been provided to buy new.
When issues like this arise, not only the candidates, but every voter needs to understand the principles of business and bookkeeping. The best way to learn such principles is to see how they work out in practice. And that's exactly what Henry and the others do in this bookkeeping class. Well, someone seems to be absent today. Or perhaps this vacant seat is for you. You've seen some of the many different ways in which bookkeeping will help these students. Now, consider your own case. Can bookkeeping help you to get ahead in your chosen career? Can bookkeeping help you in your personal life?
That was a jaunty little tune at the end. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Young American films with the organ. Yeah, Dick York was in that film. He shows up in some early Cornette films, most notably Shy Guy, where he plays the Shy Guy. This, of course, is before he did Inherit the Wind, and before he was in some Army training films, and, of course, before he was Darren, the first Darren, my favorite Darren, on Bewitched. So in the chat comments, somebody, Jim Palmer from Facebook, asked, in showing these home movies, has somebody ever noticed a relative? That hasn't happened here, but it has. I've seen it happen a couple of places. The most notable one is that there was a film called Disneyland Dream that I put on archive.org for the filmmaker, Robbins Barstow, and people were watching it, and somebody in the comments said, "Hey, at this particular moment in the film, I can see myself in the background. I worked as a teenager at Disneyland, and I'm wearing a pink striped shirt, and I was hired to do magic tricks, and I worked in the magic shop." And that person, of course, was Steve Martin, early in his entertainment career. His autobiography, actually, he talks about it, working there. So anyways, that happens. People find themselves, and it's not, it doesn't happen all the time. It's rare, very rare that it happens, but it happens. So that's why we share, why we get these films out there, because then suddenly you get these context, you start seeing people who are involved and how they're involved, and you start seeing the stories that these films are capturing. Here's a story feeding cattle. Enjoy.
In this miracle age of machines, even the farm animals are saved unnecessary work. Here, food is brought to pigs right out in the field. These porkers are fed chiefly corn, although they can live on practically anything. That may be the reason someone who eats a great deal is sometimes called pig. In England, 500 years ago, herds of these animals were driven through the streets to eat all the garbage lying about. Today, of course, proper food is fed these prize specimens so that we may enjoy fine bacon or ham for breakfast. The hog-raising area of the United States is mainly in the corn belt of the Middle West. And the reason is, of course, that here the best food for hogs is available. It doesn't have to be transported a long distance, saving time and money. Did you know there are wild pigs in Tennessee? They are descended from the European wild boar, introduced for hunting many years ago. All pigs are of the swine family. They are not native animals, but were brought here by the early American settlers. Most breeds are descendants of the wild boars introduced for hunting and a smaller Asiatic breed. When cattle are fed in the field, it is called bringing the pasture to the cattle. Fine cattle require good food, and during the summer, fresh-cut pasturage is brought the herds. Fields are set aside especially for fresh-cut fodder all the summer long. Today's farmer frequently brings his cattle alfalfa called green chop. The cattle seem to thrive on it, and the farmer is rewarded with healthier, fatter animals. During the winter, most fresh fodder is usually scarce. Parts of the country have a mild enough climate to keep green fields growing through the winter. However, most farmers are forced to add hay to their cattle's diet in wintertime. You can understand why hay farming is so important, since that may be all the food available to keep livestock alive through a long, snowy season. Most young farmers grow up on their father's farms. There, doing daily chores or riding out on tractors to feed cattle and learning to add their know-how to the wisdom of their fathers is sure to make them good farmers. The fair, with its rides, prizes, with its taffy and cattle, crowds of animals and people and pigs, is as exciting today as it ever was. Farmers are especially proud of winning prizes for raising the best livestock.
Hurry, 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 hurry. Step right up, lady.
Here, pigs are examined by the judges. They use a curved wooden stick, shaped very much like the shepherd's crook, to help hold the beasts quiet. These curved sticks, or crooks, were used even in ancient biblical times. A prize won here not only makes the farmer proud, but may also raise the value of his animals at market time. And with the prize finally won, this farmer knows that feeding cattle properly really pays off in the end.
About the context of where that film was shown. Like, it's short, and so I'm wondering if it was something that was shown on television. And I might have another one in that series. Like, it's called the Let's Talk About It series. It could have been for schools, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. You know, it certainly came from, it was in a school library, which is how I ended up with it, but I really don't know. A lot of stuff ends up in school libraries, and some stuff wasn't meant specifically to be distributed to schools. It just ended up there. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of, we answer questions here, but we also bring up a lot more questions. So that's why we are. This next film is a cornet film, and communities depend on each other. Enjoy.
You're looking at a small town. a small town community. A community, you may know, is made up of people. People who live together and work together. People who help one another get the things they need. What are some of the things that people in a community need? We all need food, of course. What about clothing? Think of the many kinds of clothing people need to wear. Besides things we need, there are many things we want, even if we could get along without them. You can probably think of many different kinds of things that people in a community want and need. Along with such products, a community also needs gasoline, one kind of fuel. Many kinds of fuel are needed by a community to make things work. Of course, a community needs not only things, but services, things people do for each other. The delivery mail is one service a community needs. Telephone communication is another service. People in a community also need medical and dental services, as well as the services of schools and teachers. Policemen serve a community when they enforce laws and protect people. You can probably think of many other services that are needed by a community. Does a community provide all the services and goods it needs by itself? Well, let's see. Let's think about the products again. Remember the food store and the foods people buy there? Do all these foods come from the community itself? Where do fish come from? You can't get fish from just anywhere, can you? Fish must come from communities near large lakes and oceans. Where do oranges come from? Oranges come from communities where it is warm through most of the year. You probably know that much of our meat comes from cattle. Most cattle are raised in places where there's plenty of grass to graze on. Meat and other foods come from farms and farming communities. Farms help us get clothing, too. Cotton can be grown only where it's warm. The cotton may be made into cloth in communities close to where the cotton is grown, but the cloth may be made into clothing in communities thousands of miles away. It takes the efforts of many communities working together to change a piece of raw cotton into a dress. Many things we use are made mostly of metal. Do you know where metal comes from? You can't get metal from just anywhere, can you? There are only certain places on our continent where men mine rock containing iron. To get iron out of this rock, you need another material that is mined. Coal. Coal from coal mining communities is shipped to communities where there are steel mills. The rock with the iron in it is sent here too. In the steel mill, heat from burning coal is used to change iron into steel. Sheets of steel from the mill may be sent to still other communities. There, the metal is made into automobiles and other products. So many communities depend upon one another to make things out of metal. What about the gasoline used to run cars? Perhaps you know that the gas station pumps it out of a very large tank that's buried in the ground. But how does it get in the tank? That's right, from a gasoline truck that comes to the station. But where does the truck get the gasoline? The truck is filled from even larger tanks, storage tanks in other communities. These tanks are often near refineries, places where gasoline is made from oil. But oil isn't found everywhere. Oil is found only in certain places. Pumps lift the oil from wells in the ground. Oil wells may be in communities thousands of miles from where gasoline is sold. You can think of other things sold in a community, books and magazines. Inside, you can see where each one is published. This one in Washington, D.C. This one in Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia. Television programs are also produced in some communities, but not in others. The same goes for films. We depend on communities like Hollywood for many of the movies we see. What about services? Do communities depend upon one another for services too? Well, mail comes to you, not just from people in your town, but from many other communities. London, Los Angeles, Chicago. The same goes for your telephone service. We can make calls to people in the same community and long-distance calls to people in other communities. Police protection is another service that depends on other communities. In the fight against crime, police departments of different towns and cities send messages back and forth to arrest lawbreakers who may move from one part of the country to another. What about services provided by doctors? Doctors get their medicines and other materials from many communities. And all the equipment in a hospital comes from many parts of the world. Does a teacher depend on other communities? Most teachers have learned to be teachers in communities where there are colleges or universities. So communities depend on one another for teachers and for other specially trained people too. People travel from one community to another for many different reasons. Can you think why people in small towns might want to visit a city? What things are not likely to be found in a small town? And what things might they find in a big city? Did you think of a zoo? A large museum? An art gallery? There are many things found in large city communities that are not found in small town communities. But city people often like to get out of the city and visit a small town. Can you think why? Well, maybe to have fun outside, where there's less crowding, less noise, less smoke in the air. It's easy to relax away from a big city, so people often go to places near small towns for their vacations. Whether it's a city or town, no community provides all the things it needs by itself. Maybe you can tell how a vacation community depends on a manufacturing community. How does a manufacturing community depend on a mining community? Does a mining community depend on a farming community? How might a farming community depend on a lumbering community? These are some of the questions you may wish to talk about after this film is over. Questions about communities depending on each other.
I mean, if we don't realize now how important other communities are to our daily life. I don't know. Maybe we never will, but you know, we have to get along with other communities. They bring us things that we need, and vice versa. Yeah. All right. So what do we got? Boy, so much stuff to watch. I love you guys, and thank you for the coffee. I have kind of switched up. I'm getting away from buymeacoffee.com because they basically said we can't support PayPal anymore, and I know a lot of people use PayPal, which, you know, I have a bittersweet relationship with PayPal, especially for creating Peter Thiel. But essentially, I found ko-fi.com/avgeeks, and that's a way you can buy us coffee. The other link will still exist, but you have to use, I think, a credit card to do it, so I don't know. I don't know how easy that is for you, but I figured that I try to make it easy. But so anyways, thank you, Kevin, Jim, and Gabriel, for the coffee. Much appreciated. I will drink it this weekend. Like I said, you know I love you guys, and this next film, you might not think that I love you, because we're gonna do a deep dive here. We're gonna watch a series of cartoons that were all on one reel, that were not meant to be watched at the same time, but we're going to watch them all at the same time because we are just going to jump in and learn everything that we ever wanted to know about Otto, the Otto. This is a AAA created cartoon to teach kids various types of safety related to automobiles. Enjoy.
A surprise for...
Okay, everything ready? Yeah, okay. Then let's go look for Otto. And don't anyone give away the surprise. He'll be so happy. Come on, let's hurry. What's the party be? What's wrong, Otto? Why are you crying?
You children never think about me. That's what's wrong. You never think about me or the other cars.
How do you say that? Yes, we do, Otto.
No, you walk right out in front of the cars. You don't even know when it's safe to cross the street.
Yes, we do, Otto, when the light is green.
I went out for a drive this morning, and it was terrible. I was frightened at every corner because the children were in danger, even though they were crossing on the green. I saw Walter ready to cross. As soon as the light turned green, he started. But there was a car that couldn't stop in time. It went right through the red light. Walter should have looked both ways before he started. Later, I saw Gay. She was crossing with the green light, but she didn't look around either. A car that also had the green light was making a turn. She was in danger and didn't even know it. It was lucky the driver saw her in time. And then I saw Pudge. When he got to the corner, the light was already green. He shouldn't have started so late. It turned red while he was still out in the middle. Poor Pudge was trapped.
Don't be sad, Otto. We understand now, don't we, kids? Let's show Otto. Does the green light always mean go? No! Come on, Otto. We'll prove that we've learned. And then we've got a surprise for you. If the light is green when we arrive, we'll wait till we can start on a new green so we don't get caught in the middle, the way Pudge did. And when the light turns green, we'll look both ways before we cross so it won't be dangerous for us or for the drivers.
Remember, too, children, sometimes it's not the green light that tells you when to cross. If there's a don't walk light, stay on the curb until it changes to walk. And don't ever cross on a turn arrow. Wait until the full green light comes on. Now, let's see if you all remember. Does the green light always mean go?
No! Well, there's something else we remember too, Otto. It's your birthday! Happy birthday, Otto!
Otto goes ice skating.
Hi, Pudge! Hey, Pudge! Come here, Pudge. I've got something for you.
Hey, what's the matter with that
Pudge,
guy?
are you all right, Pudge?
Boy, was I scared.
Wow, you were right in front of him and he never saw you.
We better tell Otto about it. He'll know what to do.
We can tell him at my party on Saturday. I'm giving an ice skating party. Here's your invitation, Pudge. Can you come?
Well, I don't skate too good, but if there's food, I'll be there. And he went whizzing by, and I had to jump out of the way, and he never even saw me.
How come, Otto? Pudge was in plain sight the whole time. How come the driver didn't see him?
That's an important question, Gay. Now then, let's see if I can help you understand. Oh, look over there. Look at Robert. He's so busy watching Vicky, he's not paying attention to where he's going. Hey, watch out, Robert! Now, kids, the same thing can happen to a driver. He's watching another car or looking somewhere else, and he doesn't see the boy or girl crossing in front of him. So you have to watch out for the car because the driver may not see you. Then here's another thing. Look at those sunglasses Ruthie's wearing. They're, well, they're not very clean, and they're covered with ice. Can you imagine what she sees?
Hello, Pudge. Oops, it's not Pudge.
She couldn't see what was in front of her. But it's not funny when the same thing happens to a driver, especially when the weather's bad. The windshield gets dirty or covered with ice, and he may not be able to see you even though you are in plain sight. So, you have to watch out for the car. And there are other reasons, too.
I know one. Hey, Otto, who are those two kids skating over there?
I can't tell from here.
No fair, Gay. The sun's too bright.
That's right. Just like a car headed into the sun, the driver may not be able to see you right in front of him. So, you have to watch out for the car.
Very good, Gay and Pudge. Now you understand.
Let's go tell the others. Come on, Otto.
That's another reason. If the streets are slippery with ice or rain or leaves, a car might skid the way I just did. So
you have to watch
out for the car.
We'll be careful, Otto. We'll watch out for the cars, even when we're in plain sight, because the driver might not see us.
Right, kids?
Yeah!
Good, children. Now, please, help me off of here.
Come on. We're sharing this way. Come on.
Whoa, boy. Horseplay. Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday. Hi, kids. What's been happening while I was away? Oh, hey, hold on now. Not all at once. Sounds as if there's been a lot of horseplay going on.
What's horseplay, Otto?
Horseplay is, well, let's see if you can figure it out. Fudge, what happened on Monday?
Robert and I were just kidding around, but then he really punched, and I got sore.
Well, he pushed me right out into the street.
Uh-huh. And what happened on Tuesday?
Well, we were just playing keep away with Gay's book, and then she ran out into the street.
It was a school book. I was so mad.
Uh-huh. Wednesday?
Well, Ruthie and I were just walking in puddles.
And she splashed a big one right at me. And it made me scream, and the next thing I knew, I was in the street.
All of that is horseplay, kids. Now, how is that different from other playing?
Because you tease somebody and make them mad?
That's right. You get somebody so angry and jumpy that they forget where they are, and they may do something dangerous, like run into the street. It's not just playing, it's dangerous playing.
Otto, I won't tease a horse anymore with the others.
Neither will I.
No, same here, Otto.
That's good, children. No more teasing when you're near where the cars are. And something else, too. If somebody teases you, don't let them get you mad or jumpy, because when you get mad or jumpy, you sometimes forget about the cars. Remember, horseplay can be dangerous when cars are near.
We'll remember, Otto.
We'll be careful.
And from then on, the children did remember. There was no more horseplay when cars were near. The secret of the push buttons.
What's taking so long? This stupid button is broken. I'm not gonna wait anymore. Ruthie, don't! Ruthie, look out!
Ruthie, I could have run you down. You know it's dangerous to cross when the light says don't walk. You've got to wait till it says walk.
We did wait, but the light wouldn't change. The button doesn't work. It's broken.
No, it's not, Ruthie. Look, it's changing right now. You just didn't wait long enough. Children, why don't we play a game to see if you can figure out the secret of the push buttons? Now, here's what we'll do. We'll choose up into 3 teams. Each team will go to a separate corner and push the buttons and then see what happens.
Stupid button.
Ruthie, you're getting angry at the button. That won't make the light change any faster.
It's broken, Otto. The light won't change at all.
Push the button once, and then wait. It takes a little while. Don't get cross. You'll never learn the secret of the push buttons if you get cross. Push once, and just wait. It'll change. A half hour later.
Here they are. What to do now? Ruthie doesn't know.
Who wants to report first? Okay, Vicky.
Robert and I found out you have to push the button or the light will never change. No. You're wrong. The way.
Kids, the lights don't work the same at every corner. Vicky and Robert are telling you what happened at their corner.
The light never changes unless you push the button.
Sometimes you push the button and the light changes pretty fast, but sometimes it takes a long time to change, and we found out why. We saw a little girl. She pushed the button, and the light changed almost right away. Then another little girl came and pushed the button, but she had to wait and wait before the light would change again. We found out it always happens like that. If somebody has just crossed, you have to wait and wait for the light to change.
Good for you. That's right.
But why does it work like that, Otto?
Why? Well, just think. When school lets out, kids keep coming to the crosswalk. If the light always changed to walk, as soon as you pushed the button, they wouldn't have to wait at all. But what would happen to the cars? They'd never have a chance to go. Pretty soon, everything would be tied up in a big traffic jam. Your daddies would always be late getting home from work. So the people in the cars take turns. And that's why you sometimes have to wait so long. You're waiting while the cars have their turn.
Walter and I had a different kind of corner, Otto. But Vicky's right. The light never changes until somebody pushes the button.
But then we made a big discovery. The cars have a button too, sort of. It's a piece of metal in the street.
Good for you, boys. Here's one right over here. It's called a treadle. A car makes the light change by driving over it. A treadle is like a push button for cars, but you can't always see it. Sometimes it's underground.
And something else we found out. We saw a little boy. He didn't push the button, so the light didn't change. Then a car came. It went over the treadle in the street. That made the light change, but it wasn't on for very long. It changed back to don't walk while the little boy was still in the middle. So then we told him he should push the button, and he did. And the light stayed on much longer. He had time to get all the way across. So we found out it's important to push the button. It makes the light stay on much longer, so you won't get trapped in the middle.
Good. And did you figure out why it works like that?
Oh, that's easy, Otto. A car goes through real fast. It takes longer if you're walking, so the light stays on longer for a person than for a car.
Very good, very good. You figured it all out. Ruthie, the push button works like a doorbell. If you go to Vicky's door and just stand there, she won't know that you're waiting. So you push the doorbell. Now, you can't hear the bell ring, and you can't tell that anything has happened, but that doesn't mean that the button is broken. And pretty soon, there's Vicky to let you in. Now, it's the same thing with the push button. You must push the button to show that you want to cross the street. You can't tell anything has happened, But that doesn't mean that the push button is broken. Pretty soon, the light changes so you can cross safely. And now you know. The secret of the push buttons is they really are working, even when you can't tell anything has happened. Just wait. The light will change in time.
I understand now, Otto. I promise to use the push buttons, and I promise to wait till the light changes.
So will I, Otto.
Me too.
All right, kids. Let's hear you promise.
I promise to use the push buttons, and I promise to wait till the light changes.
And now it's time you were all getting on home.
I'll push the push button.
I'll do it.
Let me.
Oops. I think I ended a little early. And I don't have... Everything I have set up is too long. I'm going to talk to you while I try to find something that's a little bit shorter. Wow. So, thank you, Amy, also for the coffee. It's much appreciated. I think we have enough money that I might actually buy lunch for our workers who are going through and pulling out rusted cans and replacing them with new plastic cans. That's too long. And also throwing out cans that are way too damaged. Way too damaged. No, I'd like to show that one too. Have I shown this one? I don't know. Alright. I don't think I've shown this one. But we wear masks here internally because we all have lives, but we actually have to wear masks in dealing with these films because you open up a can and all this rust dust comes out and this vinegar. And so yesterday, my mask, I had taken it off briefly because I was in a corner by myself in a totally different room. I took it off and opened up a can, and all this rust just went right into my nose, and I was like, So, that's why another reason we wear masks at AV Geeks. All right, I don't think I've shown this one. It's kind of weird. It's, quality's not great, but it's interesting nonetheless. All right. This one comes from Oregon Archives. Enjoy.
I'm Dick Lane, right here at one of your 12 big Hub furniture stores, and Hub's fabulous 59 anniversary sale is now in full blast with 59 fabulous free prizes. $1,000 in cash, the first prize. Also, Packard Bell 21-inch color TV, Norge refrigerators, RCA Whirlpool washers, O'Keefe and Meredith gas ranges, and many, many more. Nothing to write, no obligation to buy. Just pick up a free entry blank at any Hub furniture store. You'll find every department of every Hub store jam-packed with fine quality merchandise at bargain prices. You'll find bedrooms and appliances, carpeting, tables, lamps, chairs, everything for your home, and living rooms by the hundreds. Look at this magnificent modern group here with a long, low, luxurious divan and matching lounge chair, $135 value, just $88.59 at Hub now on easy Hub terms. And say, look at this three-piece curved sectional. Here is truly magnificent merchandise. Fine quality construction throughout, your choice of the finest decorative fabrics, and the full price of this, $129.59 for all three pieces. Friends, this is terrific. Visit a Hub store, you'll find every one of them jam-packed with fine bargains during the big anniversary sale. And don't forget those 59 fabulous free prizes. And register now. Hub furniture stores are just everywhere. There's one in Los Angeles at 41st Street and South Broadway, another over at Washington and Vermont. Also in Anaheim and Compton, Inglewood, North Long Beach, Montebello, Maywood, North Hollywood, Ontario, Southgate, and Alhambra. All Hub stores are open Monday through Fridays till 9, Saturdays till 7, and Sundays noon till 6.
And tomorrow only at Macy's Sale of the Century, a one-day sale of furniture, a warehouse clearance that lets you save up to 50% off Macy's original prices. Macy's emptied its warehouse to bring you a vast assortment of display samples, floor samples, closeouts, some one of a kind, some as is, all at tremendous savings from 25 to 50% off Macy's original prices. In every department on Macy's huge 9th floor, and in every branch store, there's furniture for living room, dining room, bedroom. Upholstered furniture, casual furniture, furniture in modern, provincial, traditional, or colonial styles. Buy now, pay later on Macy's CT plan. But remember, this is a one-day sale. Tomorrow only, save up to 50% off former prices on furniture in Macy's one-day sale. That's tomorrow only, at all 6 Macy's stores.
Our first item this evening knocks the props out of prices on sectional sofas. For during the Moss semi-annual furniture sale, you'll find a value that you wouldn't believe possible. Well, here, take a look for yourself. Now, doesn't this look luxurious? Well, my friends, take my word for it, it is. And small wonder it's so comfortable. The cushions are of 100% foam rubber. That means that they'll never sag or get out of shape, no matter how much use it's given. And on top of that, these cushions are completely reversible. Now, that means twice the wear of non-reversible cushions. Now, what about the fabric? As you can see, it's the smart, wanted, modern texture style. And this durable fabric is in your choice of toast, charcoal, or brown. And you can also see this is no ordinary 2- or 3-piece sectional. It's a fabulous 4-piece sectional that can be arranged in so many varied ways. Now, you get the right arm section, the curved section, the long armless section, and the left arm section. Well, with so much top-grade luxury, you probably think that this sectional would have a fabulous price tag. Well, ordinarily, you'd pay nearly $400. Yes, it's a regular price of $399.50, and I might add, worth every penny of it. But through the tremendous buying power of Moss Brothers, Moss has made these top-quality sections available to you at just $298. Yes, Moss has purchased these famous Stratford sectionals to sell for just $298. Now, that means you actually save over $100. And who wouldn't want to pocket $100 savings these days? Well, you'll find this and many items so savings priced that you'll find the entire sale a little hard to believe. So why don't you take advantage of these values tomorrow? Now, don't wait. Enjoy your new Stratford sectional this week. See them tomorrow at your nearest Moss Brothers store. Tampa and St. Petersburg Moss stores are open till 9 p.m. Lakeland and Sarasota Moss stores open till 5:30.
No idea about that compilation, except that I know where it came from, but I don't know how it came together, because you've got furniture stores from all over the U.S. Then you have all these, you have this little Hollywood gala at the end, which is just like, what's that context? Where did that come from? I have no idea. And there was no sound with it. And let's see, who was in there? John Huston, Rex Harrison, somebody said Ava Gardner. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Betty Davis. This is, again, AV Geek sometimes brings more questions than answers. And someone pointed out that that really grainy footage was kinescoped, which meant that it was shot on video and then they had a camera set up on a monitor, a high quality monitor, and then they shot that on film, that and the audio on film. And that was a way, because a lot of people didn't have, a lot of TV stations didn't have videotape, a lot of other people didn't have videotape, so this was a way to distribute stuff on 16. The quality of some of it was so not great that I'm wondering, I don't think it was recorded as a commercial to be distributed. I hope not. It might have been some way to record, for some reason, these ads. Like maybe, I'm just putting it out there, maybe the furniture stores get reimbursed from the furniture manufacturers if they advertise and they say, well, here's the proof of the advertisement, then this is how much it cost. I don't know. This is all supposition. I have no idea. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in today. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe work on this ephemeral film wiki that I've started working on with one of the people that tunes in on here, Jeremy. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Might just goof off and watch crappy television. But everybody relax. Have a great time. Give yourself a break. As always, we look to the film can to give us advice and wisdom, and sometimes it just tells us to please rewind and to love each other. Sometimes it tells us please do not rewind. So you got to read the signs in the little pieces of paper that are often included in the film can. But yeah, take care of yourself. I very much appreciate your feedback and your coffee, and we will see you again on Monday. Everybody take care.